Do you want a simple solution for selling digital products online? Well, stay tuned because in this video, I'm going to show you how to sell digital products online using systeme.io. So if you're like most people, you have figured out how to create your digital product. And if you haven't, you can actually take a look at this video here where I walk you through the entire process. But for most people, once they complete their digital product, now the next part of the process is figuring out how and where they're going to sell it. And oftentimes you end up piecemealing the components necessary to sell your digital product. Well, you no longer have to do that because I found a platform that I'm going to share with you today called systeme.io, which is really an all-in-one marketing platform that will allow you to not only sell your digital products, but it's also going to allow you to deliver those products and then be able to communicate with your list using email marketing. All right, let's jump right into the information. So let me share with you some of the additional features of systeme.io so you'll know and understand why I think it's such a tremendous platform, especially for individuals who are new to selling digital products. So the first thing to know about systeme.io is it is extremely beginner friendly. The second thing, which I think a lot of people will appreciate, is it's free to use up to 2,000 subscribers. The third thing is it provides you with a variety of professionally designed and fully customizable templates that you can use to create sales pages, order pages, thank you pages, and so much more. Additionally, systeme.io allows you to sell not only digital products, but also physical products, courses, and you can even sell services using their platform. The next thing to know is it also allows you to offer order bumps, which will increase your cart value, and you can collect payments using their system connected to one of the payment gateways, which I'll suggest in just a few moments. You can also host courses and you can create landing pages which will allow you to collect email addresses for your customers when you offer them a lead magnet. You can run email campaigns, and finally, you can create sales funnels. Now, don't worry if you don't really understand how to create a sales funnel or what a sales funnel really is. I'm going to explain all of that to you as we go through the process. I just wanted you to understand some of the things you can do with systeme.io. Now, in order to sell your digital product, there are a few things that you're going to need to have in place. So I want to make sure that you know what those things are and can have them ready so that you can get your digital product to market as soon as possible. So the first thing that you're going to need is your digital product. You'll either need the PDF or you'll need a link to where people can access it in the event it's something like a podcast or a video. Next, you're going to need a picture or a mock-up of your digital product. That just makes it more real for your customer. Now, if you're not sure how to create a picture or a mock-up of your digital product, check out this video that I'm going to link above. It'll walk you through the entire process and it's very simple to do. The third thing that you're going to need is a place to host your digital product. So you can use something as simple as Google Drive or Dropbox. The next thing that you're going to need is a payment processor. Now, I recommend that you set up both Stripe as well as PayPal. Now, if you're outside of the US and those options won't work for you, just know that within systeme.io, there are other payment processor options that you can use. The last thing that you're going to need is a systeme.io account. I'll put a link in the description box below that will allow you to click on it and get well on your way to setting up your systeme.io account. So the first thing that I recommend you do is get your payment processors set up, your Stripe and your PayPal account. The reason for it is when we get to the point within systeme.io where we need to connect your payment gateways, those will already be ready to go and it will make it easy for us to get them connected. In order to set up your systeme.io account, what you'll do is once you land on the page, you're going to come up to the upper right-hand corner where it says Get My Free Account. You'll click on that and then you'll enter your email address and then click on Get Started for Free. Once you do that, you're going to land on the dashboard. Within the dashboard, there are a few things that I want you to get set up so that those are already in place. Let me show you exactly what they are. So you'll come over to the section here. Now I'm on my test account, so I'm going to click on settings here. And the first thing that you'll set up is the section that says profile. Some of this you may have completed when you set your systeme.io account up. Make sure all of the information gets filled in here. The second thing that I want you to do is to come down to the section where it says payment pages. Click on that, and then I want you to select your default currency. I'm selecting US dollars simply because I live in the US and that's how I want transactions to be processed. But you will see that there are a variety of options that you have available to you. Just select your currency of choice. The next thing that you'll want to do is go to the section where it says payment gateways. Click on that, and then what you'll want to do is to connect your payment processor. So as I mentioned before, if you've already set up your payment processors, those will be ready to go, and all you'll need to do is get them connected. The next thing after doing that is I want you to come over to this section that says emails. If you signed up your systeme.io account using a free email address such as Yahoo or Gmail, that information is going to show up here. But what I do want to caution you about is that when you use a free email, your deliverability rates for your email messages sent through systeme.io can be low. That simply means they'll go through, but they may very well end up in someone's spam or junk folder. So for your protection and to make sure that your messages go through, you'll want to get set up with a professional email address. Now that's really simple to do. I'll link a video above which will show you exactly what you need to do to get a professional email address and get it set up so that you can use that within systeme.io. Once you have everything set up, remember to click on Save, and that way all of the information that you've entered will in fact be saved. The next thing that you'll want to do is to come over to this section that says Contacts, and I want you to go down to Tags. And on Tags, what we're going to do is create your first tag. So you'll come over to the right side, and what we're going to do is begin the process of creating a tag. Now let me explain to you what that does. A tag is really just a way of segmenting a portion of your audience. So let's say that you're using 3 different products using systeme.io. It would probably be to your advantage to have a different tag for each one of those products, just so you know which product your customer has purchased, and the tag will allow you to do that. So what I'm going to do here is put in a tag name. And this is going to be for the product that I'm listing. So this is my hypothetical product. And make sure to click Save. Now you have a tag that has been set up. So the next thing that we're going to do is begin the process of creating our sales funnel. Now you might be saying, sales funnel, isn't that a really complicated process? It really isn't. Let me show you and explain to you what a sales funnel is and then how you use it. A sales funnel is nothing more than a fancy word that just really describes the customer journey. Now that customer journey typically is going to go from the point of first learning about you to potentially purchasing. And so in this sales funnel, there are really 4 steps. So the first step is going to be awareness. Now this is where the customer is first learning about you. So that might be their first learning about you, your service, or the products that you have to offer. And that's typically going to happen when you are doing things like social media posts or YouTube videos or through your blogs, and you start talking about what you can help customers with, and then you introduce your services or your products. Now, the second thing that's going to happen is as people begin to know who you are and what services you offer, some of them will become interested because you are offering a product that could solve their issue or their problem. Now what happens is they are going to go to your sales page or your blog post or wherever you're directing them to get more information. The next thing that will happen is as they learn more about your product or service, some of them are going to be interested in purchasing. And so that's where the desire factor comes in. And then finally, it's going to be action. Some of them will make the decision to purchase your product or your service. So if you'll notice, the funnel starts off very large at the top, but then it becomes smaller at the bottom. And that's because lots of people will become aware of what you do, but a smaller portion of them are actually going to make the decision to purchase. And that's okay. Okay, so now that you understand what a sales funnel is, let's actually create one. And it's actually easier than you might think. So the first thing you're going to do is come up to the section that says funnels. We're going to click on that, go over to the right side where it says create, and we're going to click on that. Now what we're going to do is to provide some information to systeme.io, and then they will in turn help us create our funnel. So the first thing I want to do is to put in the name of the product. Once you have the product name entered, now you're going to have a few options. So they're going to ask you, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to build an audience? Do you want to sell a product? Custom funnels, or run an evergreen webinar? What we're going to be doing is clicking on sell, and then my currency has already been selected because we did that at the very beginning when we were setting the account up. So now I'm going to click on save, and then I can begin the process of creating the pages I'm going to need. So once you have your funnel, you'll notice that it shows up here. What you're going to do is click on it, and you'll see that there are 2 pages that have already been created. I want to add on another page, and I want a sales page. I don't want people to go directly to the order form. I want them to come through a sales page and then go on to the order form. So in order to do that, I'll click on add a step, and then I'm going to put in a name for it. And now what I'm going to do is to select what this page actually represents. And for me, because this is a sales page, I'm going to click on sales page. Once I do that, remember to click save. What it's going to do is to put that page at the bottom. I don't want it at the bottom. I want this to be the first page in the process. So this is the first page that individuals are going to see. Now what's going to happen is I need to begin the process of customizing this page. So in order to do so, I'm going to start off with a template. And you'll notice that within systeme.io, there are a variety of templates that you can use. And so I'm going to just go through and look for one that I can use. And know that you can click on preview template at any time to get an understanding of what that would look like. So if I were to do that, it's going to show me what the template would look like. So I want to select this one because this is actually set up as an ebook sales page. So now what I can do is begin the process of customizing this. So in order to do so, you're going to come over to the right and you'll click on edit page. Once I get to edit page, now what I can do is customize the sales page within systeme.io. And I'm going to show you how systeme.io sets things up. So the first thing to know is they have sections, and then within sections you have rows, and within those rows you have things like images or text. So just be aware of that. Also, as I scroll down and go to another section, you'll see these up and down arrows. That allows you to move the section up or down based upon which arrow you click. Now know that everything on this page is fully customizable. So the first thing I want to start with customizing is going to be this image file. Now remember, I mentioned to you that you would need either a picture or a mock-up of your digital product. So I'm going to show you how we would change this out. So you'll first hover over it and this menu will pop up. The settings menu is what we want to click on. So if I click on that, you'll notice over to the left is where you're going to find, for example, all the things related to that image. Well, I don't want this image. I want to upload my own. So if I were to click on this, it's going to then allow me to drag and drop my own image over. So let me just do that, find that picture, drag it over, and then from there, it's going to upload that. So all I have to do now is just click on insert and it will add that picture in. Once you have the picture in, if you're not happy with the way that it came in, you can always adjust the image size. So you can use the slider to move it up or down. You can see this one is actually centered, but if I wanted to move it left or right, I can do that. I can add in additional margins if I want. So lots of things that you can do with it. And then the other thing I want to show you is how you can fully customize all of the text that appears here. So on this page, you'll notice, and I can even customize this section header. If I wanted to get rid of this blue, I can change that out as well. But let me show you how you would change out text. So the first thing to know is here, if I wanted to change this out, I could just simply highlight it and then type in what my digital product is all about. So now if I want to get rid of this, I can highlight it, and you'll notice that over here, there is a little color wheel that I can use to change things out. So if you know the hex color, you can type that in here. And what I'm doing is just changing it so that it is going to match the colors that appear in the picture that I put in for my ebook. So if I want to change the text again, then all I have to do is just change this out, and there you have it. Now, the next thing is any of the other contents that appears here, you can always change that by clicking on it. And just know that if you want to get rid of something completely, there's a little trash can there that you can click on to get rid of it. Now, I want to change out the purchase book. I want to change this button so that it is a different color, and I also want to make it a little bit larger. So once again, you would hover over it, go to the settings menu, and then you'll notice over on the left side, as I scroll down, it's going to allow me to put in the text that I want. This currently says purchase ebook. That's fine. I can change out the fonts if I want to do that. And then if you scroll down further, I can go to the background color and do the same thing. So I can put in my hex code, and if I want to change the text color, then you notice how it's that blue. Over here, hover over that, and let's just change that to white. All right. Now, the other thing I want to show you with this, let me get rid of this because I don't want people to be able to preview anything. So I would click to get rid of that, and then you have to confirm it. Now, I also want to point out to you that there are other things you can do within the page. So the first thing is, notice on the left side, there are elements which allow me to add on additional text. So let's say, for example, I wanted to put in a heading here. I could, or headline text, I could just drag and drop it, and then I could put in some text there if I wanted that. Again, to get rid of it, just click on the trash can and confirm OK. The other thing you can do is you can click on this blocks tab, and over here you have a variety of options as well. So let's say, for example, you wanted to put in testimonials. So now you really don't have to do that on this page because it already has testimonials built in. But let's say that you did want to put testimonials in. All you would have to do is click on it, and then it's going to show you the options that you have available to you, and then you can just click and drag it over and then drop it. And so now you have another section. And remember, anything you don't want, you can very easily delete just by simply clicking on the section and clicking delete. All right? Now let's go down because I want to show you one other thing. Now here, if you'll notice, this says $99 because you have to tell people how much your ebook is going to cost. So the way that I would do that is I would click on elements, I would come over to headline text, and I would drag that in. Then what I would do is get rid of this picture because that's what this is. So click on the trash can to get rid of it and confirm OK. The other thing is I would also tell you that this is actually hidden a little bit below this other section. So let's increase the size of that by clicking on it, making it active, and then clicking on the bottom, and you'll notice how it starts moving things down to make that visible. So now what we're able to do is to work with this where it says purchase the book, and we're also going to put in an amount here. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's make this $17. The other thing I want to do is make that an H1, which is a large heading, and then I want to bold it out. Now what I want to do is to work with the section so that purchase book is listed as well. So we're going to change the color out as we did before. So the way I would do that, we're going to have to, let me do this. Let me put a little bit more space below because it will make it easier for us to work with that. There we go. So now if I click on this section, I would come over to the left again and then change out the color. And you'll notice it saved my color, and then I would change the text, click on the settings section, and now what we have to do is tell systeme.io what we want to do when this button is actually clicked. So over here on the upper left-hand side, it says action when the button is clicked. And I wanted to go to the next step, which is the order page. But just know that there are other options that are listed here. So this way, when people click on it, it will take them to the next page. The last thing that I want to share with you about systeme.io is you'll notice in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see a little computer screen, but then you'll also see a little mobile device. And this is really important because most people are looking at things on their mobile phones. So this shows you that systeme.io is also mobile friendly. So as we go through and we look for the things that I made changes to, you'll see that those changes have been made here. I'm going to go back to the desktop version now, and anytime you make any changes, I can't say this enough, always make sure to come up to where it says save changes and save those. And you want to do that before you ever leave a page. Once you do that, now you can exit this page. All right, so once we click on that, now what we can do is begin the process of customizing our order form. So the way to do so is to click on order form, and now what we have to do is select a template. And this is what I like about it. You can select from a variety of templates. So just find something you want. Let's just use this one. You'll want to make sure that it's customized so that it matches things such as your fonts as well as colors of your sales page template. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to begin the process of editing this. But before we do that, you'll want to come down and tell systeme.io whether or not this is a digital or a physical product. So I want to indicate that it's a digital product. And then it's going to present me with some options. So once I click on this button, I have to now tell systeme.io what I want it to do once an individual purchases. What resources are they going to get? And here is where we're going to go to tags. Remember we set up our tag before? What I want to now do is tell systeme.io to use the tag that I set up and remember to click save. So now this is going to segment the customers that purchase this ebook and let me know that they are customers that did in fact purchase the Tropical Hibiscus ebook. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to create a price plan. If you have one already set up, you can use it, but if you haven't, now we want to create one. So I can come down to this section where it says create a new one, click on that. So now I have to fill in some information so people know what it is they're purchasing. So I'm going to give this a name, so I'm going to type that in. I also want to have something that's going to be easy for me to remember, so I'm going to type that in as well. And then for the statement descriptor, same thing. Statement descriptor is what people are going to see on their credit card statement or their debit card statement. So we want to type that in as well. And now what we have to do is tell systeme.io, is this a one-time payment, a subscription payment, or is it a payment plan? Well, this is going to be a one-time payment, and now I have to put in the amount. And remember, I indicated on our sales page that the ebook was going to cost $17. All right, so once you have that, the next thing you want to do is click on Save. Now, this is something I want you to be aware of. You are going to be limited to the number of characters that you can enter here. So what I can do is change this out to make it easier by just deleting that. And now what's going to happen is I can resave it, and that works. So now that plan is all set up. All right, if you do want to offer coupons for people, you can set those up here. All right, so now we can begin the process of editing our page. So once I come over, now what I want to show you is how to make this as simple as possible for people to actually complete. There's a lot of details it's going to fill in that, quite frankly, you really don't need. So for example, this section where it says customer type, you don't really need to know that if people are purchasing an ebook from you. So let's delete that and get rid of it. Same thing, company name, let's get rid of that. And tax ID information, we're going to get rid of that as well. You want this form to be as simple as possible for people to complete. So all we really need is their name, their email address, and for them to indicate whether or not they are using their debit or credit card or their PayPal account, because those are the two options we selected. Stripe and PayPal are the two we put in. And you'll notice here for order details, it's going to indicate that it's the Tropical Hibiscus ebook and it's $17. Now I would change this out where it says complete payment. And what I would do is come down and change the color out, so again that it actually matches everything we have. I do the same thing over here. I'd click on this section and change the color. And you'll notice, because once you put the color in, it saves it, so it's really easy to do. So again, you would customize all of the information here, and remember, once again, you have to save it. So now that that is saved, your order page is all set up and we can exit. The only other thing I would tell you to do is to change out this URL path to make it easy for both you and your customer. And you have to make sure that it's unique and not the same thing as what we had previously. And it will let you know whether or not that's available by putting a check mark next to it if it is available, and if it isn't, it'll prompt you to change that. All right? Now the next thing that we want to do is head over to our thank you page. So this is the page that people will see once they complete their purchase. So I'm going to click on thank you, find a template that I can use, and I think I like this one, so I'm going to click select. And now I'm going to begin the process of editing this page. So once I click on edit the page, remember we can do all of the things that we talked about before by editing the information. So for example, I don't want this, so I don't want it to show up because this is my thank you page. So I'm going to get rid of this and confirm it. Also, if you want to change the background color, then what you can do is click on settings, come over to where it says color, and I would probably just change this to white. Okay, and you need to do that for each section here. There's another way to do it where you can get all of them in, but just change it out so that that makes it easy for people to follow. Now the next thing I do is, if I wanted to keep this type of image, then what I have done is I've created one in Canva. So if I go over to settings and then click on upload and click on this section that says your images, here I've recreated that same image in the color scheme that I used in Canva, and now what I can do is just adjust the size on that. So in order to do so, you would just pull it down until it matches. Okay, so that works. Same thing here. If I wanted to change these colors out, I would click and select the colors, and then what I could do is when I get to these, I have also recreated these numbers in Canva, because these are actually pictures, so you can't just click on them and change it out. So in order to do so, I would go back to files that I've uploaded, click on images, and then what I would do is scroll down, find the number 1, insert it, do the same thing with number 2, change that out, go to your images, click there, and obviously you do the same thing with number 3, change that out, your images, and that's it. Now if you'd like to learn how I did that, I'll link a video above that will show you how I created those images in Canva. So now I would do the same thing here with my call to action button, which is I want to change the color so it matches my theme. So click on background color, change that, and what I would do here is change this. And the way that you're going to change this is by putting in what you want to happen when people click this button. So what I would do here is I would say, download your ebook. So once you've changed the text on this to say download ebook, now what we want to do is tell systeme.io how people should receive this. So the first thing you would do is come over to this section, and where it says next step URL, change that to download file if that's what it was defaulting to. And so what you'll want to do is now add in your file. You would use the upload function. You'd click on that, locate your file, and then just drag it in. And that'll take just a second to actually upload. And once it uploads, now what you're able to do is to insert that. And so what that will do is it will now have everything set up on this thank you page such that when people click on that, they'll be able to download your ebook. So now your ebook will be ready for people to download, or whatever your digital product is. Now, the next thing that I want to share with you is you could put in some steps. So for example, the first step might be watch this short video, and you put together a thank you video, let's say, just letting people know that you appreciate the fact that they've purchased from you. The second step might be download your ebook or digital product. And then the third step could be something like connect with me on whatever the platform is of your choice. Again, it just gets people into the habit of doing things. But the other thing is it's going to allow you to kind of jump off the page and become real to them by having a thank you message and then asking them to connect with you. Now, there's one other thing that is very, very important. And what I want you to do is come over to this section that says settings. And remember, this is as it relates to your thank you page. We want to scroll down. And what I want you to do is to make sure that you check this section where it says hide from search engines. Now, the reason why I want you to do that is if you don't hide it from the search engine, it's very possible that if someone were to Google the topic of your ebook, this page could pop up and they could very easily just download it. So just be aware of that. You want to make sure that you do in fact check that box, and of course you want to then click on Save Changes. Once you do that, you can go ahead after you've saved changes and you can exit from this. And then the only other thing I would recommend you do is then just take a look at the actual funnel. Click on View Funnel. You'll notice that the items that we made changes to have all been updated here. If I were then to click on Purchase Book, it will take me to the next page of my funnel. And you'll notice all the information that we deleted was in fact taken out of there. And then if I wanted to see that final page of our funnel, what I would do is click on Thank You, view the funnel step, and you'll see it is there. And then if I were to click on Download the book, it does in fact do just that. So you can see the funnel actually works. So then what you would be responsible for is just driving people to your sales page and then making sure that your sales page has all of the information in it to tell people about your digital product, throw in some testimonials, and then change the steps as we did so that it moves them through the various stages of your sales funnel, from the sales page to the order page, and then finally to the thank you page. So now that you know how to sell your digital products online using systeme.io, I want to let you in on a little secret. And that is that people miss a crucial element of selling their digital products online, which means that they put an awful lot of time into creating a phenomenal product only to have it not sell, or not sell as well as it possibly could. Now, I don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you watch this video next, where I teach you the most crucial components of getting your digital product to sell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.